Right now, each of these 30-inch monitors behind me is consuming about 1 watt of energy, which is a sharp contrast to this cup of coffee, which itself contains enough energy to power half of Seattle. I like my coffee strong. Oh, so strong. Pete's Coffee. It's the only coffee I drink. I've got a couple of tip lists here, both related to saving energy, so I'm going to read some tips from each one of these. One was submitted by Ashley McKiernan, and the other one from Ryan Leaf. Don't worry, all the tips, including the ones I'm not going to read, will be posted to my blog at chris.perillo.com. So I'm going to read a couple here. He says, hey, this is from Ashley. I'm going to read one or two. He says, most of us do laundry each and every day. Many of us use a dryer to dry it. Electric dryers use electricity to dry your clothes. Okay, so taking up electricity. Each load you wash means that a dryer will be used approximately 40 minutes. Many dryers run off of 220 volts. That can really add up, especially if you have kids and do as much laundry as Ashley does. Now, the weather, once it's warmed up, it's a wonderful time to hang clothes out to dry. The fresh air and sunshine will dry your clothes for free. Imagine how much you could save. My mom was a big fan of the clothesline, as were my brothers and I when we pretended to be Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, which was even more ironic considering none of us are over 5 feet tall. However, she would hang the clothes out to dry, or make us hang clothes out to dry. Sometimes she'd hang us out to dry, but I would always... She'd do it to save energy, but I couldn't stand it because you'd walk around like, I can't move, the clothes are itchy. I hated it. So you know what I did? I took a sheet of Bounce, or whatever they call it, the softener sheet thing, and I threw it in the dryer and waited till she was at work, and then fluffed it for 15 minutes, and so I can, move around in my clothes. She was none the wiser, and she's likely never going to see this video, making it even more likely that I will be able to keep my inheritance, which won't be much because despite all my parents' penny pinching over the years, they are likely only going to leave me saddled with debt. Number 2, how many times each day do you walk by an empty room and see that it has a light left on? There's no point in having lights left on if they're not being used, is there? Ponzi? Ponzi, are you listening to this tip? There's no point at all. Did you know that if you turn a light off each time you're done using it, your electric bill will be lower? It sure will. Using the daytime, take advantage of natural sunlight. Draw open your drapes. Light the natural light your home for free. I think she or he, Ashley, used the word light one too many times. Maybe you need a little less sun. A little more screen. You know what I'm saying? I do have, it's evening time, so you really can't see anything out there because it's all dark. But I do usually open the shade during the day just to get a little bit of sunlight in here. Or I should say rain light, since it is Seattle and we do not, the sun is a foreign object to us. We're not sure. You should see the amount of UFO sightings and reports that come in when there's not a cloud in the sky. It's insane. We don't know what this glowing disc thing is. Now, that was from Ashley. Let's move and bop into Ryan Leaf's list, a couple of his top items. Number 2 is for his second list is adjusting your computer settings. Simple and a free way to cut back on consumption. That's what I did with these particular screens. And I tell you, you don't realize how much heat your screen gives off until it is either turned off or goes into a power savings mode. Far cooler, and I mean it does. These things really heat up. 30-inch LCDs can get a little hot. So if you aren't using a screen, keep its settings low. If I'm not using the screen here on my laptop computer notebook, I'll usually dim it down or turn it off. So it's still on. It's just if I'm not using it, I'm not necessarily taking up the energy. And I think every little bit counts. We replaced the lights in the office with some energy-efficient bulbs, and these are great. They're bright. I think they bring out a more natural color. Yes, by the way, I really am this white. In some of the earlier videos that we did like a year ago, lighting wasn't as good in here, but as soon as we replaced it with natural bulbs, more energy-efficient bulbs, I should say, brought in a natural light and really brightened up the room a lot. All right, we'll go through one more. If you can, try to replace the biggest consumers. And I don't mean like replacing your significant other, who is most likely a big consumer of shoes and purses. No, if you still have a CRT on your desk, replace it with an LCD. Not only will it improve the clarity of the items on your screen, but it will also draw much less power. In addition, if you're still using incandescent light bulbs, replace them with compact fluorescent bulbs. Also, if you have an older computer that draws a lot of power, consider replacing it with a newer, more energy-efficient one. You can look around at all the objects in your home and go, you know what? That's older than my grandma, so I could probably replace it. I'm not saying my wife is older than my grandma. She would be something that would be irreplaceable. And quite honestly, I don't care how much energy she takes up. I still love her. She is my energy. She is the light of my life. I wouldn't need the sun, because I've got her. And I'm not just saying that because there's a chance that she's going to watch this video and likely not be happy about it. But anyway, point is, look around. There are many things that you can do to save energy. And these are just a couple of tips, as I said, from a couple of people. And they just weird. I got them literally within hours of one another, and I have no idea why. It's great. It's good to get tips from the community. And I know, especially with tech, I've pointed out some tools that you might use to save energy or to realize where you're wasting energy and replace them with more energy-efficient appliances. Something to keep in mind. Any other tips you might have, my email address is chris@pirillo.com. Feel free to pass them along. I'll take just about anything you got, whether it's related to tech or not. I mean, energy is tech, so it's kind of related. I'm just interested in talking about this stuff because everybody's life. It impacts every person's life out there. Hang on.
Hello, Chris Pirillo. You have a call on hold from
Danny Geekbooks has a story for you, dude.
Geekbooks.com. My friend is calling me, so I've got to save my energy to talk to Dan now. He has no idea that I'm broadcasting live, even though I'm doing it like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, typically talking tech. One place and one place alone. And that's... No, that's not where it's at, Dan.
Press 1 to take the call. Press 2 to send to voicemail. Or press 3 to play the caller ID.
We're at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.